Welcome to part 2 of rules of e-collar training. These aren't necessarily just rules as much as helpful tips for part 2, but still very important information. Number 1, make sure the collar has a good fit. If it's too loose, you could potentially not have contact and it doesn't work properly. If it's too tight, you can have other issues, including creating pressure sores on the dogs and just overly not being comfortable for them. There's a few different style of collars that are available to put onto your remotes, to your remote collars that are different than what you get from the manufacturer, that can help maintain tension on the collar properly and make sure you always have a good contact and be comfortable for the dog. Number 2, e-collars are not used for breaking up dog fights. Don't try it. It's not usually helpful. It can actually make things worse, right? E-collars are not for breaking up dog fights. They are strictly for communication, correction, actual training. If your dog is getting into dog fights, you actually need to seek help. Otherwise, don't resort to using an e-collar to try and make that stop. Number 3, do your leash training first. If your dog doesn't understand a leash very well, it can be really hard to get reliable remote collar training in order. And not just leash walking skills, but do long line work. Getting the dog to learn how to be on a long line, move into you from distances, things like that. The dog understanding the leash is an important part of doing your off-leash training. Number 4, incorporate as much positive reinforcement as you can into your training. It does not mean you have to go nonstop with giving the dog cookies and treats and food or even toy rewards, but it's helpful for them to get a little bit of positive reinforcement when you're confirming that they're understanding the remote collar. It also helps keep their motivation up and their energy up so that they're not getting a little bit of a negative mindset around remote collar training, because it can be minorly stressful for the dog to be figuring out the collar at the beginning, so incorporating positive reinforcement is very helpful. Number 5 for e-collar training is be fair to your dog and be fair to yourself. It can be very easy to get in over your head. Either you're overly confident and you go somewhere to like a park or a public area and you're not ready for it yet. Increasing distraction levels, making it harder for your dog too soon can create some consequences in your training. So make sure you don't go in over your head. Be fair to your dog, be fair to yourself. That wraps up our second video for tips for e-collar training. I hope you enjoyed the 10 tips. They can be very helpful in your e-collar training, making sure that you are going to be as successful as possible through the process. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to help you.